What's up? It's Tom. Thanks for being here. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Twins system action from Tuesday through today, Thursday evening as I'm recording this. The Minnesota Twins still haven't lost. They're never going to lose again. They're never losing a game ever again. The win streak has been turned up all the way to 11, baby. They sweep Baltimore at Baltimore. I know that the O's are kind of up against it right now, but that's tough to do. Took both games in a doubleheader. Speaking of tough to do, I feel like that's really difficult. Usually you kind of push a lot of chips in to win that first game. You use your kind of A side of your bullpen. That makes it really tricky to win that second game, but they managed to pull it off. Very impressive. No matter how Baltimore's playing, that's really impressive. And, an 11-game winning streak speaks for itself. Just crazy. And Payton Eeles is back. Some highlights from his rehab assignment game with Fort Myers. This was from today, Thursday. Nothing too crazy to relay here, but he got a couple of infield hits and made a few plays in the field. Just the fact that he played the field. Played second base for, I think it was 6 or 7 innings, but Eeles recovering from a knee surgery that he had in the offseason, so that's why he's been out. Probably the most asked about guy of this season, and for good reason. He was so good last year. So I wanted to start with that good news. There's definitely some bad news. I'm sure you've probably seen it by now, but we'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, once again, Twins win all 3 games at Baltimore. Here's just a quick rundown. The starting rotation, again, that doubleheader, it's not like they got good starts out of either Bailey Ober or Simeon Woods Richardson. The bullpen, you see in the notes down there, the bullpen delivered 9 1/3 shutout innings during Wednesday's doubleheader. 9 1/3 shutout innings in one day the bullpen provided. They also provided 2 more innings of shutout ball today. So I talked about the bullpen on the podcast some, wanted to go out of my way to give them some props, even though that wasn't the topic of discussion. Just want to highlight again, man, wow, the bullpen. Chris Paddock, too. What? Chris Paddock? What? Again, I wasn't even one of the ones who wanted to throw Chris Paddock off this team, and I'm just completely flabbergasted at how well he's pitched his last 2 outings here. Just making things look incredibly easy. He goes 7 shutout innings. Wow. You see down there at the bottom some under-the-radar guys contributing, and I feel like when things are going well for a Major League Baseball team, that's typically that's a key ingredient, is you have some of your guys that typically aren't contributing much are stepping up and filling in. Christian Vasquez homered, Cody Clemens homered, and had a big assist. Deshaun Kersey homered today. So some of the, it's not all the star players, which is important to keep in mind when we consider that this happened. But you've probably seen it by now, but if you haven't, this is the We Can't Have Nice Things version 947 is what I'm calling this. But, we have this 11-game winning streak. How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? By Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa colliding. Both Correa and Buxton are going through MLB's concussion protocol. That doesn't necessarily mean it basically only means that they had concussion-like symptoms. It doesn't mean that they have a concussion necessarily or that they're going to miss. We don't know. We really don't know much. This just happened today. I mean, it's probably safe to assume these guys are going to be out for a little while. But who knows, the way, obviously it looked bad for both of them. And, the stills can only show so much, but the way Correa whiplashed when Buxton hit him, I first saw that. I didn't see it live. I first watched that in slow motion, and then I watched it in real time, and that was it didn't look that bad in slow motion. And a lot of collisions don't, but in real time, that snap of Correa, that looked awful. So, thinking about both those guys, hope they're okay. If any baseball fans know about concussions and what they can do to a baseball player, it's a Minnesota Twins fan if you've been around for a while, with, Justin Morneau and Joe Mauer. And, so this is very scary. This is obviously top of mind. I wanted to lead with the good stuff and keep in mind that we have an 11-game winning streak going on here, but it's really hard to not make this the very focus of your thoughts right now. And, Harrison Bader has a groin strain right now, too. So, that's going to complicate that outfield picture. If Buxton is going to miss significant time, if Correa misses significant time, maybe Brooks Lee's going to get a lot of run at shortstop. Who knows? We will learn more about that in the coming days, but I can't imagine these guys are going to be available for a while. And then also, there's some other news that Simeon Woods Richardson was optioned to AAA. Who would have thought that, Paddock would have outlasted Woods Richardson and that we'd be in agreement that he was the one that should go down. Sim not pitching real good, and he, in that doubleheader start, he fought his way through. It could have been actually where he was a bad start, but it could have been even worse. He actually missed a lot of bats in that start, but his command was awful. Even his fastball command was really bad, alarmingly bad for Simeon Woods Richardson. So he's going down. Funderburk, who was the extra guy in the doubleheader, is going to stick around for a minute. Zebby Matthews is going to be the guy who takes Simeon's rotation spot, at least for the moment. David Festa recently had a start skipped due to arm fatigue. So he's not on the IL for the Saints or anything, so it's not a huge red flag, but, they decided to skip one of his starts, so Zebby's kind of the guy who's fully in stride and ready to step in. So, it's going to be nice to see him get another opportunity. And as for Simeon Woods Richardson, he'll be back. We'll see him again. He's still only 24 years old too. But he hasn't pitched well this year. And again, that was bad command. That was red flag stuff. And he's got to have good command. He has to pitch ahead of the count to be successful. So that's something that a guy like him can't get away with. Moving on to the minor league side, here are some of the notable minor league starting pitching performances. To be honest with you, there haven't been a lot yet this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Connor Prelip didn't have an excellent start. Andrew Morris was more good than great, kind of danced around a lot of trouble, didn't really miss a lot of bats, only had one strikeout in his 5 innings. Marco Raya got crushed again, walked 5 guys in 2 2/3 innings. Tough. I'm not sure. We'll leave it at that. I'm not sure what they should do with Marco Raya. Still a young guy, still lots of time, but it's in the moment, things aren't looking good. I want to call out, though, Adrian Bohorquez and take a look at some highlights from his outing on Tuesday. The line wasn't very good. You see down at the bottom there, nothing too eye-popping, but he destroyed that guy. Topped out at 96.7, nearly hit 90 miles per hour with his slider, which was very special. 11 swinging strikes on his slider alone. You're seeing some of those. So I think this guy's super intriguing for Fort Myers. 20 years old only, Adrian Bohorquez. He's a starting pitcher right now. I'm kind of envisioning him ending up in the bullpen eventually, but he has so much development left that I totally get why they want to keep him in a starting role. And he's just it's kind of mainly a 2-pitch guy at this point in terms of the pitches that stand out. But that's a good foundation. And I'm really curious to see where things go. And again, it's not like he completely dominated or anything, but he showed a lot of potential. And that was kind of maybe one of those look beyond the stat line performances, so I wanted to share that. Here's a rundown of the minor league hitting performances. Now, there were a ton of these so far, just in these 3 days. So, the guy that really sticks out because he's on here so often is Carson McCusker. 2 3-hit games and a 2-hit game. He's hitting .356 with a .419 on base and a .667 slugging. Ridiculous. Gabriel Gonzalez, you see, also had some big games already, including a 4-hit game today. .333 average with a .387 OBP. He's not a big walk taker. .550 slugging, though. .937 OPS, and Gabriel Gonzalez already has as many home runs this year in 31 games as he hit in 81 games last year. So that centerpiece of that Jorge Polanco trade kind of clicking. I'm curious if they're going to promote him soon. And then Khadim Diaw, who's the guy I want to take a look at. He hit 2 home runs today for Cedar Rapids. We'll take a look at both of those. He's been hit by 13 pitches, which leads all of minor league baseball. Khadim Diaw. And a 15-7 win for Cedar Rapids today. We're going to take a look at this whole plate appearance for a second home run. He falls behind 0-2 and battles back, stays in the count, works the count even, and then hits that home run. So a tough, I think it was a 7-pitch at bat. But this is the Twins' third-round pick from last year's draft, 21 years old, primarily catching, but also plays some center field and has gotten some looks in right field. He's doing a great job. A .293 average with a .434 on-base percentage and a .414 slugging. So not a lot of slugging, but a good 2-homer game, .848 OPS, and again, been hit by 13 pitches, the most in minor league baseball this year. Take a look at both of those swings from Diaw. That Cedar Rapids team is stacked, and just him kind of looking interesting really adds to that. So anyway, that's the system recap for Tuesday through Thursday's game. Thank you so much for watching this one. I really appreciate you. We'll talk again soon.